You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I am your chunk.
I'm Doge, and you can call me Dr. Chunk.
And I'm Carter. Hunk is inconvenient and all-encompassing. That's it.
Okay. So, Carter, I can't help but notice that you called yourself a hunk.
Yeah, so I think it's a Christmas hunky kind of thing right now.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Chelsea and I,
Okay.
my wife,
Your
my very
brother.
pretty wife, my brother, my brother Chelsea. No, Chelsea and I went and we for the first time bought a real Christmas tree.
Cool.
Guys, it was so easy.
I did not know that you loved spiders that much.
And
tell me more about
it
that.
was
How about
cheap.
allergies, snot, boogers, all
There
that stuff?
weren't. I've lost a lot of motivation to share all the convenience of a real tree.
No, tell me about it.
Guys, it really was easy. It was like a 6.5 foot Douglas fern and got a base for like $60.
I'm going to stop everything. Did you say Douglas fern?
Yeah, fern tree.
All right, continue.
What? What's wrong with that? Fur! Hey, how cute though. It's my first time though.
It
of course
is.
I would
Oh,
make
that's
a cute
adorable.
Christmas mistake. That's what we're
So
going to rename this
adorable.
episode.
A cute Christmas
Two Chunks
mistake.
and a Hunk. Carter's cute Christmas mistake. And it will be more intriguing than... Why don't you introduce the movie now, Jordan?
Yeah, I would
Introduce
love
the
to-
other cute Christmas mistake
I
that
would
we'll be
love-
talking
yeah,
about.
Let's talk about a cute. Can we call it a cute Christmas kerfuffle? Because I like
Yeah,
the
perfect.
alliteration.
3 bugs did fly out of that tree, though.
Did it?
We're good now.
Did they really? I want to talk
Yes.
about that.
Yeah, that happens.
That is,
But it's not bad.
horrifying.
No, dude,
to me.
they're like really harmless Christmas bugs.
Nope.
They're pretty
magic,
cute.
dude.
Nope.
They put presents in your
This is a
stockings.
good time to reveal how much I hate bugs.
Okay.
Oh, I hate.
We just finished up Do You
bugs.
Believe in Magic talking about spiders like every week. I think
But it's
people
all
probably
bugs. It's
understand
all
that.
bugs. I hate all bugs except
Oh, okay.
ladybugs. They're cool. They can chill.
Okay,
I'm
fair
done
enough.
with them. And roly-polies. And butterflies. So this week, of course, part of our Christmas series, and we're going to sing the name of that right now, and it's, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
I was like, oh no.
Like, let's do it.
Yeah, Carter was ready.
Let's go.
I saw him take that deep diaphragm breath.
That was it.
But we're going to talk about this movie known to all in the world as Christmas Under Wraps. Oh my goodness.
Guys.
This is a movie. It is available on the Amazon Prime. It's available on the Hallmark,
PlayStation View
PlayStation View.
for free. Love that.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I should have jumped on that,
Love
I think.
that.
I paid for it. Money.
I paid you for
American
half of it.
currency. I still paid for it.
Yeah, fair enough.
This movie is something, and I'm going to toss it to Doge in just a second. But before we do, I'm afraid that he's going to skip over this. So I just want to say, this movie, is it just me? This movie started with a Full House reference, right?
Yeah,
First thing-
yeah,
it
the
did.
First thing-
cityscape.
Yeah.
It did.
Certainly. I thought
Okay.
the same thing.
That I wanted to
And
make sure that
even
it
the
wasn't just me.
font.
And the fact that it was like, everywhere you
Yeah,
look.
right.
I was like,
Same
whoa.
song. The
Did
exact
I just
same
watch
song.
Full House?
Yeah. You did. Full House is
I love telegraphed jokes that aren't funny. Doge,
better.
could you hit us with the Christmas synopsis?
Ooh.
I sure will. Christmas Under Wraps tells the story of
Does it?
a doctor named DJ Tanner who guys, I'm going to talk about this in broad archetypical terms because this is truly the template, I feel like, for Hallmark Christmas movies. And maybe I'll eat my words as we watch more of these
I doubt it.
I'm ready to be
wonderful
surprised.
pieces of
Listen,
cinema.
Yeah.
I know better because this is how Fast and the Furious started.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
But I don't know.
I don't think there's going to be as much
I
punch.
don't know. Yeah.
My hopes are not high.
yeah.
When a doctor doesn't get the position she wanted, she ends up moving to a remote Alaskan town.
As all do.
She unexpectedly ends up finding love,
Oh.
happiness,
Yeah.
and discovers that the small town is hiding a big holiday secret.
Okay.
Guys.
Let's just start talking about it.
Blarf.
So I'm going to do something crazy.
You always do something crazy.
I know.
noticed that recently.
I'm going to do something crazy.
Okay.
And I'm going to super dump right out of the gate.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm just going to get it out of the way. My super dump is the fact that this director knows of only one way to shoot a conversation, and that is from the back of the head of whoever the person is talking to.
Yep.
I would have sworn for the first half of the movie that none of these actors were in the same room, but it continued for so long that I thought there's no way that they just filmed all these scenes separately. Maybe they did. Every conversation is alternating shots of the back of the head.
You don't have time for any kind of diversity in the actual look of the movie, though, because these are shot, legitimately, I read this, shot over like 3 days.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Like the shot over 3 days for about the budget of a standard episode of hour-long drama television.
First of all, amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
So that's the thing. Like these are kind of, they're like a weird achievement in their own right. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like you're shooting this 90-minute long, technically a movie, over 3 days
Technically a
for the
movie.
budget of a television episode. And you're shooting
Which
like
is
all
why
of them.
they're able to do how many of these? How many has Hallmark?
Legitimate. In 2018, there are 15 of these movies slated to premiere between now and
So
Christmas.
here's what I realized, and my super dump's out of the way. That's it. That's the super dump.
But to total at a close to 150 at that point, right?
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
there's
it was
136 right now.
Yeah,
But here's what, and they've been going on for a while, so they are technically, I think, ramping up production.
they are
because
clearly. This is
it's
not
an
a dumb,
exponential growth.
repetitive thing. They are making money somehow.
Oh, they are. Well, and here's
For sure.
Here's what I realized while watching this: these Hallmark Christmas movies are the adult equivalent of Disney Channel original movies.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
great comparison.
It is
Okay.
just Disney Channel. It's DComs for adults, and I am here for it.
You're a fan. You like it.
So
Well, I can't tell you. I'm excited in a way
Yes.
that
Yeah.
something that was hard about Do You Believe in Magic is I really had to be a student.
sure.
I had to look at things and be like, okay, people are so very familiar with this. What can I add?
But we might be
That
the
is
first three
interesting.
people to ever watch this movie.
No, we
At the
certainly
same
are.
time.
Maybe.
Well, I don't know because they air on Hallmark and
That's
they've got.
true.
That's the thing. Like people watch these, and I don't want to generalize the audience, but like
I do.
moms watch these.
Sure, moms
the
do
fact
watch
that I
this.
could check out my streaming cable service and it was like, oh, on the very night that I wanted to watch it, that
was
it was
ready to go.
on
It's
Hallmark.
ready to go. Yeah.
And here's the best thing about it. This really is such a strange experience because I was miserable throughout the watching of this movie and yet loved every single moment of my experience.
They're kind of
watching
weirdly
it.
charming, aren't they?
Let me tell you how much I loved my experience.
Talk about it.
So my super pump
Okay.
is in the first scene.
Okay. In the first
In the first scene. First, I want to say this is not exactly my super pump, but I do pump on the fact that she does seem to be we need to be surprised that she didn't make fellowship, all these
Sure.
kind of things. So our revered surgeon, all we know is she's done a successful removal of an appendix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which seems to be
I could do that. It's like a day one surgery.
right. So are you ready to take a step into
Are you prepared to commit that to
No.
sort of audio longevity?
We definitely can't do that. It's a completely different show.
Well, here we go.
So, would you guys like to take a step into Professor Willis's classroom?
Open the door,
Yeah.
baby.
So there is a wonderful.
If you don't show up after 15 minutes, I can leave.
that's okay. There's a wonderful communication theory called symbolic convergence theory. Have either of you heard of it?
Nope.
No.
It's fine. It's because you haven't taken my class. Symbolic convergence
do
theory
that?
it's hard to describe because it happens a lot of times in friend groups. This is from my class called small group communication. So in friend groups, there'll be something that happens that is just between friends. It's usually an experience or a word that comes up
Like
that
an
you
inside
begin to
joke.
use. Yes, it's exactly what it is. It's an inside
Okay.
joke that becomes a part of your dialect.
Okay.
It can eventually reach a point that someone else has taken part of this dialect and has no idea its origin.
Okay. So it's
Okay.
like how we used to take the consonants, the hard consonants out of words.
And completely take them away.
Yeah.
Which people might not know, that started because one of my friends who's not a sports person was watching a football game and the line judge wears a giant K. It's like a ref with a giant K on in football. It's a line judge. Don't know what the K stands for, but this person viewing it for the first time said, "Oh, some poor word is missing its K." Then we took all the K's out, then we took all the hard consonants out.
So this is a joke that I have participated in for years.
Yeah.
And
same
I
here.
just now learned the origin.
I had no idea where that came
Symbolic
from.
convergence theory.
There it
Can
is.
I tell you what word is about to be the only reference I have for a specific thing for the rest of my life?
Okay.
Super Pump is pendix.
Yep.
This young girl called an appendix, and I thought to myself,
the daughter of the
yes.
guy.
I thought to myself, listen to me. Why have I not called it appendix my entire life?
Oh, man.
Pendix is my super pump.
This girl
Guys.
is the oldest 4-year-old in the whole world.
I am not done.
Okay.
Another reason I love this. This super pump is full of the symbolic convergence theory. I hope we are converting. Like, I hope people are learning today.
Oh, my goodness.
So my wife and I love a commercial, and it is a commercial for a drug. Let me pull this up again. So there's a commercial for Symbicort. You might have seen it. Okay, it's for emphysema type things, and it is a grandpa talking to his grandson, telling the story of the 3 little pigs, and how a wolf could not blow a certain house down because he did not have enough breath. How cute!
Yeah.
Have y'all heard of this?
No.
There's a point when this boy.
You need to be careful because you're dangerously close to a Jerry Seinfeld style bit right now.
No. Oh yeah. What's
Y'all
the
heard
deal? So I'm saying, but no, So this little boy, he's like, and he couldn't breathe. Guys, it goes to this little boy, and it is laugh out loud funny. The little boy goes,
Like you do sometimes, Grandpa?
like you do sometimes, Grandpa. And he says it exactly like that. They made a new commercial, but the only thing that's new is it's a little girl now. Guys, so all this stuff happened to me today.
Oh my goodness.
And it was overwhelming. I got emotional. I was like, what a beautiful super pump.
Sure.
I look up, I just say, you know what? I'm gonna Google search like you do sometimes, Grandpa. Millions, like tens of hundreds of thousands, and the guys, so many people hate this commercial. And it's because of how dumb this kid sounds. Like you do sometimes, Grandpa? Like, how did they get this kid? So pendix made me think of that. But that's how Chelsea and I do all the time. Like, we'll just be referencing something, and then if we'll just throw it in randomly, and it gets us every time. It'll be like, "Oh man, I love the way that you made this chili," and then Chelsea will be like you do sometimes, Grandpa, and it's like that's our
And it
symbolic.
just
That's our
slays every
inside joke.
time.
But
Yeah.
guys, I can't say enough. Pendix
Pendix.
rocked my world.
Okay.
She said it twice.
She did say it twice.
Chelsea and I
did,
were watching
2
it
times.
together, and I was like, "Please say it again. Please say it again."
I love that we're bringing up this conversation because one of my earliest, I don't know if it's a dump or a pump. It might be a pump because of just how bad it is. One of my earliest reactions to this movie was whenever DJ says to the little girl, "You can call me Dr. Lauren." Because I love that she's like, make sure to keep in the important
call me
prefix
doctor
before my
still.
name. Definitely still call me doctor, but you can call me by my first name.
It's like the illusion of casual behavior.
like, how cute.
Yeah, it's like, oh, no. You don't have to call me Dr. Brunel.
Call me
Something
Dr.
Call me Dr.
Lauren.
Lauren.
Something out, and man, guys, I've never experienced such a concentrated, mind, heart, eye-opening first 2 minutes.
It's
to a movie.
rich.
It really is.
It truly
really is. So after we leave the appendix surgery, we go to
The biggest jerk in the
she
world,
gets dumped immediately.
Dude.
the biggest jerk in the
But
world.
she's fine with it.
Chelsea was like, "I would be hysterical.
Yeah.
I would be hysterical if these things happened, perhaps in the same day." That she
think they
also
did.
doesn't make the fellowship.
No, she doesn't make the fellowship. She gets dumped, and then she goes. Luckily, we have her mom there to state the full theme of this movie directly
Yeah.
to camera. But
But
let's talk
I wanna
about her
talk about
getting
the breakup.
dumped.
Yeah.
No, we need to
So-
be there.
She's like weirdly okay with it. Like she acts like she's the burden here. When she gets dumped, she's like, yeah, no.
The guy's
you're
like,
right.
DJ, you plan your whole life. I think you should try and live in the moment sometimes.
Yeah.
And his breakup reason is love is not what we have. And I want to experience it. And don't worry.
I hope
I
you
want
do
you
too.
to.
So why
my
not do it together?
gosh.
It's unreal.
I wrote, I want to feel that I want. So he said, I want to feel that, and I want you to feel that too. And then I wrote after, which was probably just like a high school type text, the kind of thing that you think to yourself and never sent back to the person that broke up with you. Okay, so if you want to feel that, and you want me to feel that, and this is the best thing you like about me, why the heck are you breaking up with me?
Yeah.
Callie goes, we're watching this, and Callie goes, man, They really picked the goofiest looking guy to contrast to the hot guy later for sure.
Yeah.
Because this dude is like 50 years old.
Okay, now that you bring age into it, this is my big question. How old is Candace Cameron Bure supposed to be in
I don't
this
know.
movie?
In real life, she's about 40.
She looks way too old for this story to happen to her.
Yeah, it does sort of seem like the fellowship should have happened like a decade ago.
Yeah.
Maybe. Which,
It
I mean,
does.
don't get me wrong.
I mean, everybody moves at different speeds in their
Yeah.
lives. So
Yeah.
if that's your path, then that's cool. But
the immaturity of our two main love
Yes.
interests is
Big
and
time.
we'll hit that more, I'm sure.
Big time.
But
so she gets dumped. The worst dinner dump conversation.
worst dinner dump. One last comment in here. I never thought I would miss Daniel Radcliffe's acting. So I have decided I would prefer Mannequin, which is what I call him, with his lack of
Come on,
expression.
Daniken.
oh, there it is.
Dead gummit, man.
Yeah.
I prefer Daniken over her face never stops moving. Her eyebrows.
It's like she does an
never
eyebrow
moving,
workout.
Stop
But she never stops
moving.
her Botox smile. Can I say it? It's like
It's much
like everything is
strange.
like so
I have a
smiley and
theory.
weird when she talks.
I have a theory that this was all preseason prep work for Fuller House, and that she was
2014.
basically, yeah. She was basically just getting in her like.
She's like, let's see if I remember how to act.
Yeah.
Let me shake the
Yeah.
dust
it
off.
feels like
yeah.
she was just like, let's see what I
Just
can
like riding a bike.
what shapes I can get my face into would be good.
Yeah.
And so from this dinner, we go to the parents.
She goes to her parents' house.
to her weirdly. I've never seen a character quite ride the line between supportive and unsupportive as her dad.
Yeah.
I've never seen a mom who is such a nagging harpy that the viewer is also supposed to sympathize with.
She's also a robot.
yes,
She's a robot.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all saw the post credits.
she's a replicant.
She's a replicant.
Energizer?
Yeah, she's completely robot. Yeah.
Batteries.
She was awful. She's maybe
She's
the worst actor in the whole series.
She was almost my super dump, but that moment comes.
Wait,
much later.
Did
There
you
was a
just
lot
say
of things.
she's the worst actor?
I think the mom is the worst actor by a mile.
Hold up.
Nurse Billy.
No.
Billie Bangs.
No.
Yeah, Billy Bangs is garbage.
No.
Okay, so mom, I wrote down this quote because this is
This makes me happy.
This is like screenwriting 101. Like, how do we get a theme to be important to our main character?
Man, this is so bad.
Have her grandma say it.
No, it's her mom.
No. Mom says, remember what grandma
yeah.
used to
That's
tell
right.
me? You can listen to your mind, but you have to follow your heart.
Can we talk about how many times characters in this movie react as though they had never heard the phrase "follow your heart" before? There are like 4 separate times where people are like, "Hey, that's really good advice."
It's the
I
thing.
feel
It's it's this implied importance thing. Like, we're
Yes.
supposed to think that it's important because of how characters react to it. We're supposed to think it's like the most profound thing in the world.
But is anyone else kind of like feels a little bit gross that they say listen to your mind
Yes.
and then heart? Like, why don't they? Because whenever I've heard it, it's like follow your head. Like, they don't usually use the term mind, but that also bothered me too. But maybe I was just so in tune with things that bothered me.
It should be you can listen to your head, but you should follow your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Man,
blown
wouldn't it-
away. By
I think
how many
we should
times,
write a Hallmark movie. Anyways, move on.
I was blown away by how many times people in this movie were like, "Wow, that thing you said to me about following my heart was amazing," as though they didn't have access to
Yeah.
television.
Yeah. Things are just a little different in Garland, though.
Oh, let's
so she
get
gets
there.
a
Let's get to
posting in
Garland.
Garland to be the only doctor, right? So she flies on a plane to Alaska.
Spontaneous.
How spontaneous.
And then
Wait, can
she's-
we take a little bit, like, if you've been working, which medical school is many years.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
So the very first attempt you had to join a fellowship fails. Oh, I better go to a career center.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
She went to a career center where people go that have maybe been unemployed for a long time and they're like, I have no idea what to do. I graduated, but this is not the major I want to be in. And here's a 40-year-old.
And we're supposed to pretend that a career center is like, let me hook you up with this medical job?
Just make money off them pendix surgeries, girl.
That's the thing. Like, is she a likable protagonist for you guys? Like,
No.
put aside the
No.
poor quality of the filmmaking. Like, she does things in this script that make her unlikable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not alone
No, I
in that.
don't-
Like I get that they're trying to do the whole like she sucks and then she meets somebody and then gets way better. Like almost like to put it in terms of movies we've reviewed on the show before, like an Iron Man type of thing. Where
I
it's like,
did
man,
not
I
read it as
despise this person, but then they become great.
I think it was a failed attempt at making a likable protagonist who finally got the love she deserved. I do not think it was
Really?
intended to be. I think she was supposed to learn a lesson, but I think it was supposed to be like, the only thing she's lacking was supposed to be the thing that it was. Like
Gross.
a wonderful
Gross,
every woman
gross,
goes and
gross.
meets this every man who changes her life. But to me, it was like selfish, whiny protagonist.
This movie, like understanding this movie is like hugging a porcupine because like it pokes you away and pushes you away
But you
at
gotta pull
all
tighter.
times. But there's just something in me that wants to like look at this and analyze it and try and understand it. And it just resists definition at every turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like stuff like that where it's like, I can't tell if I'm supposed to like my protagonist or hate my protagonist. I know by the end I'm supposed to like her, but what are we doing with DJ in the beginning?
For me, the biggest like nebulous idea in this whole movie is this supposed to be ironically funny? That's what I kept thinking the whole time.
I can't figure it out.
Okay, so she arrives in Alaska. She gets picked up by Andy Claus in his plane. And
That of course he flies.
this is hands down the very worst green screening that I have ever
plane?
seen in anything. Listeners may not know this. I am a video producer for my job, and I have seen loads and loads of bad green screen, whether it's people that I'm teaching or just reels that I have watched. This is hands down the very, very worst green screening I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not good.
So he's flying his private plane to Garland, Alaska, which, first of all, puke for the name.
Yeah.
Garland, Alaska.
Callie at one point in the movie goes, "Oh, I get it now. Garland is North Pole backwards."
That's funny. She's funny.
The three of us all just tilted our heads like
Yeah.
dogs who heard a strange sound.
I had to pause the movie.
First thing that happens in Garland is she is real bummed out about her cool house that she gets to live in.
Yeah,
dude.
for
You know
for
why?
free.
Do you know why? Did we notice her flat that she was living
Yeah, it was
in
bonkers.
San Francisco?
She lived
Yeah, it
in
was
a
absurd.
bonkers house.
It's because her dad
What
is
I-
a really successful TV news anchor.
What I
Wait,
saw.
he is?
Yeah.
He's a TV news anchor? I
Uh-huh.
thought he was a doctor.
No. It's like a morning show, and then like he lives
Stop
with
it.
her and her
I know
two
what
younger
you're doing
sisters.
now. Stop it.
But what I saw in this frame was more than the
Wake
square
up.
footage of my house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
big
insane.
time.
It was 30-foot ceilings. Like,
Oh,
what?
time out. Let's go back to her flat for 1 second. She was leaving for a supposed 2-week trip and was packing her mugs.
Was she really?
Yes, her and her dad were folding her mugs in bubble wrap like she was moving house.
Are you serious?
Yes, I forgot about this. They were
She
packing
was
up her house.
packing her mugs.
She was leaving for 2 weeks. What? Which brings me to when she gets to Garland, the first place that she really goes is Hattie's Diner the next morning and orders the most pretentious millennial sounding beverage.
On
Well,
purpose.
she is a millennial. She's old enough to be the mother of a millennial.
And her stop, she orders the drink and she goes, "I want a half skinny vanilla latte with dairy-free milk and non-sugar sweetener. I'm not going to get that here, am I?"
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
Did you guys see? I want to know your first reaction to one of the central characters of this narrative. In the corner of this diner, over DJ's shoulder,
Frank?
we see Frank Holiday. Did you immediately know he was Santa, or was that just me?
No,
Instantaneously.
definitely.
Okay,
Here's my
good.
super dump. Now,
Oh.
I'm doing it now. I wanted to do it later, but Christmas Under Wraps is the name.
Sure.
One of the big parts of the plot is, hey, there's a twist here. There's something we're going to open up and find
oh my
out.
Goodness.
My friends, I spent an hour and 10 minutes already knowing what this was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
What a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my super dump is that one of the central themes was supposed to be, oh, no, I mean, no. And I think there was a point when it reached comical because you realize everyone is supposed to know what this is.
That's the thing. Like, I don't understand how to read this. Is DJ dumb? Does she not know, or is she
No,
just? Is
she
she
knows
just?
the whole time.
Is she just
That's-
playing along?
That was wild to me.
Then how is that
so weird?
How is that a normal person's response? Like, I can tell your dad is Santa,
what
but I'm
I'm
just going to keep my
saying.
mouth shut about it.
No, this movie, that is what is wild about this. Is she, in the first time she meets Frank, she's like, "Has anyone ever told you look like Santa?" What a buck wild thing to say to somebody you just met. Then on top of that, she spends the rest of the movie like, her first assumption when she hears pitter patter little footsteps is, "It sounds like an elf just went in there." What? Whose first assumption is elf?
An elf.
we're here. My super dump is that Santa Claus's name is Frank Holiday.
Yeah, it should have been Nick.
It should have been anything other than Frank Holiday. That's the worst possible name for Santa Claus in the world.
Yeah, it's a bad name.
His
but
company's called Holiday Shipping. Holiday doesn't have to be his last name.
That's true. But I want to, in that same vein, let's spend a little bit more time, because the rest of this movie plays out interestingly, but I want to spend some time talking about how oblivious Lauren is.
Wait,
Is she oblivious,
I
though?
don't think so, but that's what I want to get to.
before we do that,
Yeah, please.
just for the sake of plot, can we go back to, and here's something, and it's probably because it's the first Hallmark movie I've thoughtfully watched.
Okay.
And didn't really recognize, okay, so the acting will be very bad.
Yeah.
Most people. The person, so our guy, Chaboy, that's going to end up being the one she loves.
Andy.
When
Andy
Andy
Claus.
picks up her stuff from the airport, thought he was an extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally thought he was an extra. And Chelsea was like, wait. Oh, no. Is he the love interest?
I
Like,
figured
Chelsea,
he was
I
going to
think-
be the hot guy.
I think he is. But Hallmark's got a lot of hot people. There's some random people walking down Garland that do these really weird smiles to a stranger.
man.
That I was
did-
like, are you from a JCPenney catalog?
That is the best way to describe the overall costuming look.
Yes,
of
100%.
this.
It was an ad for Macy's.
So after we spend some time here at the diner with Hattie and Franklin Holiday, we go over to the hospital, which is apparently an old house, and we meet Billie Bangs, the nurse,
Oh my gosh.
and 3 other people who are totally pivotal to the operation of this hospital, you guys, and
They
they,
say
do
one
matter
line
in our
each.
story.
Is it high? I mean, I don't
Well, if
remember.
it's high, then they say 2 lines each, because I think they say hi, and then I think they say, "We're really gonna miss you, doctor."
They don't
later.
say hi. They
Really?
wave.
That's absurd to me.
Yeah. It's pretty unbelievable.
So Billie Bangs, you were of the opinion earlier that Billie Bangs is the worst actress in this movie.
I think so, yeah. Well, the worst actress who's not a background role, yeah, I think so.
You think she's too over the top?
I think that she learned to smile from comic books.
Dude, there are so many cuts of her where her like response in a conversation is just to smile.
Yeah.
And it makes a smile noise, like
Yep.
of her, I'm sorry, Carter, but it makes the like
that's
lip
really bad.
and teeth separating noise.
That's really bad.
But
That was really gross.
so her whole deal at the hospital is
She's a nurse. That's it.
yeah, why no, I'm talking about DJ. Nothing happens at the hospital that matters at all,
apparently
right?
the presence of a doctor means that everybody gets hurt and gets sick. And so they all show up. And then she makes the town better because apparently they were all just dying before she got
Yeah,
there.
for real.
That's the role of the hospital is to give her something to do so that every scene isn't
Well,
necessarily
and speaking
important.
of too, are we really supposed to think? And this is again, we're having trouble knowing what to think. That the elf that comes with the hand injury was it really the hammer? Did he hit himself?
No, dude, Rudolph bit him.
You
That was
it's
a reindeer
Rudolph
bite.
bite?
No, I think it was the hammer.
The tiny hammer.
Yep.
But
I
the
think
elves are full size.
I think it was supposed to be a hint as to the fact that they were elves.
But the elves are full size, but she hears the pitter patter of little feet, and it's a little small shape that runs away.
with a green
With a
hat,
green
like an elf hat.
Yeah. But
What
the
is
elves
going
are-
on at Frank's workshop?
I think he has some small elves and he has some big elves, and they have small hammers, and he has one reindeer to pull his sleigh.
Hey, let's not talk about
Without a
Rudy
red
yet.
nose.
Yeah, let's not talk about
I want
Rudy
to talk
yet.
about
Okay.
Rudy when we get to Rudy. So she's at the hospital and she does doctor stuff for like a couple of days. She goes on a date with Nick, not Nick. Oh my
Andy.
goodness, Andy.
Yeah.
Why was I going to say Nick?
And they do a midnight picnic after he fixes her breaker box with
Yeah.
a screwdriver.
The power goes out, and so he installs a screw.
He's quite
Obviously.
he's quite awful.
Yeah, he's pretty rough.
I didn't mind him.
So they go on a picnic in the middle of nowhere. Like they have to fly there.
Something that's really
Gosh.
interesting is I don't know if y'all knew this about the Northern Lights. When you're in an airplane, you can't see them.
Yep.
But once you clear a forest you've walked through,
Right. Then it's there.
surprise
I
they're
know.
there.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
really
There's really
amazing.
only a handful of tiny acres
well, I think
on
it's
the ground
Gosh,
that
sorry.
you can see the Northern
It's only
Did you
viewable.
mispronounce acorns?
acres.
acres.
Acorns?
Yeah, they're oak seeds. The thing though is that
They're known as caribou as well. So
you can
don't worry
only
about it.
see the northern lights from a bench that happens to be in the middle of nowhere in this clearing in the middle of the
Okay,
forest.
well, he knew where he was taking
And he
her. They
probably
didn't just
built it with a
stumble upon it.
screwdriver.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So
Also, they did not picnic.
nope, super didn't.
They didn't.
He invited her
Super
for a
didn't.
midnight picnic, and there was no basket.
Which they are very conservative, by the way. Like Hallmark doesn't even let them sit within
No.
2 feet of each other.
Well,
I was
there's-
surprised they kissed before the end of the
Oh
movie.
yeah,
yeah,
I
That's a
never
pretty,
even
smooth.
thought
that's a
about
pretty
Wii
slutty
Sports.
Hallmark movie.
I
Yeah.
never thought about Wii Sports.
Mm-mm.
I thought at one point that it was implied, but then it turns out it wasn't.
No.
So looking at my notes, we actually did skip over when she's asked to fix Rudy.
We did.
Oh, then
Because the picnic,
by
is,
all
the
means,
picnic is after that. So Andy Claus runs to DJ's house and says, I desperately need you to come to
No. Isn't it Nolan or whatever his name is?
Whatever
Billy's-
his name is.
Billy's girl?
Billy's boy.
Yo, Billy's boy. I think he was supposed to be attractive.
No way.
Looks like he could eat his own nose.
Wait, Wyatt. His name's Wyatt.
Wyatt.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Dude, the names in this are bizarre. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it that Wyatt is not that character's name.
No.
Like from a writing standpoint.
Funny.
You know,
yeah,
do you
I
guys
feel
get
it
that?
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So Wyatt comes and is like, help us with Rudy. And she's like, okay. And then they don't think to tell her beforehand that this
Rudy's
is an animal.
a reindeer.
But they're known as caribou, so it's totally not weird.
Well, they didn't tell her beforehand because they realized, oh, that might be hard to get her out here because you know how much she hates veterinary.
Because you know she hates
Practice.
animals.
Yeah,
She says while she's fixing Rudy at one point, so you're a guy who looks just like Santa, who lives up north where it's snowy, and you like to eat cookies, and you have a reindeer for a pet, and your town loves Christmas. Right?
And he goes, yep.
That's correct.
Santa's voice could grind glass into a fine sand.
So the actor that plays Santa is the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob.
He
Yep.
is.
That is-
You notice
that is legitimate.
One of the first times he laughs real big, he does a ho ho ho.
He does say, oh.
Goodness gracious, everyone, this is bad. So she fixes Rudy.
Can we talk about in the house real quick, just for a second? After
Yes.
she fixes
Yeah.
Rudy, so her and Andy go back into the house, and he makes her some coffee, and then he sets up their picnic date, and then he leaves
Yeah.
in his house. He's just like, okay, it's a date, and then he leaves her.
Oh,
She is
his
in
house.
his house.
oh my gosh.
He just walks away.
Sorry, I just sounded like you
did.
I can't believe it. What's the deal? Yeah, he left his own house.
He just leaves, like they're in a mall. I know. He just leaves her alone in his parents' kitchen.
So they go on their picnic. They come back, and DJ decides the single most important thing for her career is to go surprise Frank Holiday at work and give him a checkup in his office.
she's trying to figure out if he's Santa.
Is
No,
she trying to
dude.
figure out if he's Santa?
Yeah. She's trying to
No,
figure out if
it's
he's Santa.
clearly not obvious because 2/3 of this podcast aren't sure about that statement.
No, she's trying to figure out if he's Santa.
I don't
No.
know if she is,
Yeah,
though.
she is.
No.
She definitely was.
So, first of all, the holiday shipping logo was designed in Microsoft Paint. Second of all, she hears Santa and his son Andy Claus talking, and Andy Claus says,
Santa Claus and Anti Claus.
Andy Claus says, Dad, we got to let her in on this. And he says, no, for some reason.
His reason is, what if you break up? That's literally his reason.
That is the most unbelievable excuse for a source of tension in their relationship.
Well, and it's even better because to me I thought it was being set up like it was fate that brought, like that Santa Claus set it up for her to come to Garland in the first place, and that's why it magically opened up.
That's the thing. Santa is not magic
He's not
in
on
this.
board.
He's not even magic. He's a regular old dude with one flying pet.
I thought
And
there might
high
have been some
cholesterol.
kind of twist to where he doesn't want to have a checkup because she's going to find out
That
he
he's
is infinite.
immortal.
Like
yes,
he's- like
he's
it's gonna-
800 years old, so he can't look at.
Right.
Like it's gonna do the thing where she holds it up, and it's like from the Santa Claus went. Bum, 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 bum,
Does
bum,
this look
bum.
like a little weight to
Yeah,
you?
like I was gonna do that, and I do so bad. You get Foley artist.
Yeah.
I do just want to say, I'm glad that finally a Christmas movie takes seriously the overweight plight of Santa Claus. It's
That's what
about time that we bring to
Your
light.
whole diet's cookies.
That's what I need in the holidays.
Yeah.
Just a reminder of the perils of obesity.
Speaking of realism, I'm changing my super pump. This is the most realistic. No. Gross.
It's just
Guys, so she gets
eating a lot of cookies recently.
and then she's like, "You're gonna die," and he's like, "Oh, I never thought about that before." And then she's like, "I'm gonna keep you in the hospital, and I'm staying in town." And they're like, "Oh, cool."
But the 24th is the busiest night of the year for me.
Yeah. And then his son goes, "All right, Dad, let's get you out of here and get you to work." And he goes,
But can we have some cookies first?
"It's like, dude, no, obviously no.
You can't have any more.
You're done with cookies." This man is the Cookie Monster come to human life. And he just, every time he gets a chance, it is unbelievable.
So the next thing that happens is DJ gets a call from her dad, and he says, "I've got you the fellowship. You need to leave right now."
Wow.
And
the
her
timing is
parents
crazy.
finally figured out speakerphone, which is cool.
That's a great thing.
Because
It's
before
awesome
they
for
were
her
literally
parents.
just passing it back and forth. Also, couldn't have talked to her in the car on the way to the theater, Dad. You jerk.
Yeah,
Anyway.
for real. For real. So she
We gotta go. I'm gonna get in the car now. You know how awful service is in 2014
In
a
my
vehicle.
car.
my car's a Faraday cage. No signal can penetrate
Didn't
the
charge
hull
the
of
car
my vehicle.
phone. Can't talk to you. Sorry.
So she obviously starts to leave. Andy's driving her to the airport, and then he says, "Oh no, my dad."
Yeah, then they
He
go
gets
to
the
dad
call.
stuff.
He gets the call. They go to the hospital.
He turns around in a parking lot for some reason.
Santa has some sort of medical episode with chest pains, a pain in his arm. He collapses.
And it's not a heart attack?
And it's not a heart attack.
yeah, I don't
Wait,
understand
I
that.
thought he was making it up. I thought it was like a proposal thing with like Sandra Bullock and Ryan
to
Reynolds.
keep her in town?
Yeah.
Whoa.
What?
That
Which
is
is also
not
in
my
Alaska.
interpretation.
What? Really?
No, not
I
at
thought
all.
he was faking it by the way he described it.
He's
Really?
too bad of an actor for me to know that.
Is that why he wanted the cookies anyway?
Guys,
Is that
here's,
why?
here's the importance of acting. It carries plot.
yeah.
That's the thing. Like this really is a porcupine. Like I'm trying to understand this and I cannot.
Man, such revelations. A look inside at how Two Chunks does podcasts. We don't watch these movies together. I don't know if
No.
we've stressed
and
that
we
enough.
do not discuss them beforehand.
And it's
No.
for the point of these kinds of things, especially in such a unique movie like a Hallmark Christmas movie. There's stuff coming to light for me that is groundbreaking because we haven't
Santa-
talked about it before.
If Santa
is
faked
true.
his,
No, he was faking it.
if he faked his heart
faking
attack,
that is not the vibe I got.
He's like, yeah, I gotta. So he just went for the one thing that, like, he know, like everybody doesn't have to look at WebMD to know that like chest pain and your arm hurting is a heart attack. So he's like, oh, what was good enough for her to come back? I had a pain in my arm. Like that's what I thought it was.
That does transform the plot of this movie.
that makes Santa have at least some kind of agency. That is, I have no
Then it might
idea what to
reveal
think
that
of
he
that.
actually is immortal, and he's just faking.
He
being
can't suffer
sick.
from heart attacks. He can actually.
He's faking
no,
being
because
fat.
everybody's afraid for him. No, his whole family's like, she's right. You do need to cut back on the
But
cookies.
then that completely discounts that magically an email got erased at the career center that there is an opening. Like we're supposed to think he's
that was-
ominous in some
That
way.
was totally supposed to be magic, but we get nothing aside from the final CG shot of this movie to indicate that Santa's actually magic.
This is so. Here's what I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about, since we're spending so much time talking about these cookies. Let's discuss the source of those cookies. Mrs. Hattie.
His
Yeah.
wife.
No, Hattie.
I liked
Hattie.
her.
She owns the diner and the general store. Seems strange.
Hattie's a better Mrs. Claus than the real Mrs. Claus.
And there is why Hattie is my super pump for this movie.
okay,
She
fair
is
enough.
the only character that whenever she was on screen, I was like, hey, you're doing a good
She
job.
kind of reminds me very much, and they could have pulled it carbon copy from a character that already exists. I think it's Suki from Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
Have you ever watched Gilmore Girls?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, who is a chef.
Right.
And like has a catering business. Anyways, it felt so much like her. Hattie was my favorite actor. I agree with you.
Yeah, she's my super pump for this movie. I think she was fun. I think that her interactions were actually engaging. And
She actually felt like a real sweet person.
yes. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, her constant supply of cookies was clearly a plot to murder Santa Claus. And in this movie, I'm down.
She pushes him off the roof, puts on his coat. She gets the gravelly voice. She
You're the
drives the
big
sleigh.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So DJ's back in Garland.
She never left Garland. She is consistently still.
She's mentally and emotionally back in Garland.
Sure.
How appalling was it to find out after her very intimate conversation with what's his face, Alan,
Andy.
Andy Claus.
It's forgettable that she comes back in and her bags were packed. She was prepared to go.
And she changed her mind.
Man, that really messed with my heartstrings.
Then
And-
love changed her mind.
And the Christmas star, when she goes to leave, she doesn't even take it.
What's the Christmas star?
The
The
star
one that's
that he-
supposed
the
to remind her of
tree
the
topper?
Northern Lights, because you know how the Northern Lights are red and yellow and blue.
Yeah, it's just all over the place with those northern lights.
So, I mean, he's Santa. We get confirmation that he's Santa as they kiss, and then CG Santa flies away. CG Santa, by the way, looks very bad.
What a dud of an ending.
He has
Yeah.
one reindeer.
That's the thing. Jess, I looked at Jess when this finished. I was like, Jess, why does Santa have one reindeer? And she point blank, straight in the face, looked at me and goes, that's all Hallmark Channel can afford.
Yeah,
Of course he only has one reindeer.
Yeah.
that's fair.
How are they going to pay for two?
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Much less 11 or how many it's actually supposed to be.
I think 60. I think it's just like a fleet of reindeer. It's incredible.
So,
Santa flies so fast.
If we're gonna break down some themes real quick, so at the
Can
end of this,
we? I mean, do we have enough evidence
No.
or material to break down theme?
no, we don't. But at the end of this movie, we're supposed to be like, she learned her lesson, and I guess her lesson was spontaneity. But the spontaneous thing she did was not leave a place she had already been for. about
Her
a month.
lesson is give up your dreams if you find someone
For
you
that sweet, sweet hubby?
love, which is not a bad thing. Like put the people that you love before your dreams. Like be willing to sacrifice your dreams if it means that you get to be in the lives of people that you love.
Now, I did appreciate the fact that Andy and Lauren kind of mirrored each other in opposite ways. Like Lauren was obsessed with following in her dad's footsteps, and Andy was obsessed with not.
See, that's something that's like really crunchy. That would be something that would be really good to talk about and sink our teeth into. But there's nothing there.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
At the first dinner with the holidays, I thought we were going to start to get into that, and I thought they were going to learn from each
I thought
other.
there was going to be some clear, like, I'm passing the baton to my son.
That's
Yeah,
why you
I
need
thought
to be
he was going to be
because
Santa.
you need to be the new Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. I thought that he was going to fly and deliver presents and be like, hey, I need you with me. The
And
reindeer might
they
get
give
sick
us-
on the way.
They give us nothing about her that would have shown an immortal person. This needs to be the new the new
Forever.
Mrs. Claus. There's nothing about her that points to that.
Yeah, she doesn't
Give me something that she likes cookies or like she likes making them. Like anything to say,
Dude, what if she
I need
was
to go out of my way after millions of years to give my one son I've ever had? Like, how old is he? Do you think he's immortal?
Oh, that's a good question.
What if she was a baker? I think that makes it a lot more sense.
That's great.
if she's a baker. But I
Especially
know that
for Southern Living.
I actually agree with that.
there's going to be another one of these where DJ plays a baker. I mean, there's got to be. But I think that makes a lot more sense.
Here's now here's my thing. In this movie, though, I feel like should have had at least one interaction with like a child of any kind where she's like,
She did.
Right,
There is
she had the
one baby.
pendix.
There is no. There is one little baby at the clinic who is dressed fresh to death all the time. Dude's got a little fedora,
Oh,
like a plaid
yeah.
shirt, a vest. He looks like he walked out of a Kohl's ad.
you're right.
This baby has more style in his
fresh to death like coals.
like Kohl's. He has more style
Hey,
in his
don't
pinky
knock
toe
Kohl's.
than I've got in my whole body.
yes.
And I guess here's my thing. Do you think that at any point while writing this movie, they were at all concerned with, well, if we make her Santa Claus, that's too much responsibility on her if she's Santa Claus's wife. And so we're going to leave that up to interpretation because it might like weigh down the plot for the people who watch this? Or did they just like not think of it?
Dude, mind blowing that you would say something like this because it just brings me to this point of, wait a minute. And we mentioned it was filmed in 3 days, right?
It's something like less than a week.
Wait.
About a week.
So is this movie impressive?
Because it's less than a week?
I mean, think about what we're working with.
We have arrived here. This is my super pump.
Oh, shoot.
The fact that this exists, that they technically pulled it off. This is a serviceable 90-minute movie filmed for nothing over the course of less than a week
Yeah.
with a terrible script,
Wow.
terrible acting, terrible effects, horrible editing. Like technically this is the worst movie that we have reviewed, but we're still talking about it. You know what I mean? Like it's still a story that we can find ourselves engaging with.
Well, and because, hold up. I mean, it made a list of like not a scrub magazine. Like Southern Living is
Yeah,
the
it's like a real
demographic
thing.
of the kind of person that watches most of the Hallmark Christmas movies. So of what at the time was 136, this showed up on 15 of the best. Not the most viewed. So that would assume the best.
So that's the thing. Like I think like we can knock it technically all we want, but the bottom line is that there are people who are engaging with this story that otherwise probably don't engage with other stories very much. I know, like in the case of my mom, hey mom, if you're listening, I'm not trying to put you on blast. My mom typically doesn't like movies all that much. She loves these. My mom still finds herself.
Is it because they're bite-sized, like little bite muffins?
I think so. Like she finds herself engaging in these stories. She's invested in the lives of these characters.
And it's one and done.
And it's one
you
and
watch
done.
it and then it's like, wow.
Exactly.
I
You don't
ingested that whole
have to
thing.
keep. I mean, we just finished this whole thing where we had to remember movies and movies and movies worth of information to understand the current one. This is it. You show up, you're there, you get the whole thing, you leave, and that's it.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that for sure. I just think of how many like late 90s, early 2000s Disney Channel original movies probably had the same budget and the same time constraint and like were better.
Well, and I think that's because you were the demographic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to play
Maybe.
devil's advocate
Yeah.
because we've been kind of dumping on this movie, and
Yeah.
and I'm not arguing that it's a good movie, but it exists for someone, and because of this, somebody is engaging with story, and somebody is engaging.
And
with
that's
these
never a
characters,
bad thing.
and that's never a bad thing. Exactly.
I completely agree with you.
But the movie is big trash,
Yeah,
though.
it's steam garbage.
I have an idea.
Hit me.
And we can choose to remove this if we want. But I'd love to do a little bit that might be consistent. Did you? It all depends on if y'all happen to look at what the rating on IMDb for this movie
I did.
was. Okay, never
I
mind.
don't think that I did.
Never mind.
Do it to me. It'll be a fun thing just for us.
I was just gonna say, can you guess the IMDb
6.4.
6.8.
I was close.
You were close.
Yeah,
You're
I
about
don't.
0.4 off.
It doesn't even register on the critic side of Flickster of Rotten Tomatoes because no critic saw it. Obviously,
On IMDb, there is
Rotten Tomatoes, you need us.
you have
You
to
need us.
Yeah, hold up. Yeah, you definitely need us.
one trivium on IMDb about this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
What is it? What's the trivia?
Let me pull it up. Here is the one trivium. Andy's plane is actually registered in Mesa, Arizona to Phoenix Flyers Incorporated.
Wow. Truly enlightening. Thank you, Internet Movie Database. Wow. What?
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Unreal. Honestly, I think it's just time to rate this
Let's
one.
rate
I
it.
think you're right.
I don't think this is a place for science. though.
Yeah, I agree with you. Southern
Science
Living,
has no place in your Christmas holiday.
No.
Southern Living
Get out of here.
has no room. There's
Yeah.
simply no room between all of the pecan pies, snickerdoodles,
Butter.
Pumpkin
Butter.
pies, cinnamon pies,
cinnamon,
Butter.
but more butter. There's just no room for science to
Douglas
squeeze in here.
ferns.
So what we have done is we have temporarily crafted a brand new cinema scale specifically made for Southern
Yes.
Living and Christmas's marriage.
Let's do it.
Here's how it goes. This is the new Christmas scale. The best thing that we can say about one of these movies is rejoice when you receive this gift. Ooh, you open it and you are so excited.
Yep.
It is the socks you wanted. It is that new toothbrush you were craving. It is the Blu-ray copy of Kramer versus Kramer that you have been dying for.
Top 15 gifts of your lifetime kind of thing.
The next best and middlest worst thing that we could ever say about a movie is re-gift. This is the kind of gift that you open up and you look inside and you say, hey, it's not for me, but maybe.
This would make somebody else very happy.
Maybe it's for somebody. Maybe it's for somebody. So you know what? I'll hang on to it. I'll say, oh, thank you so much. It's just the right size. And then I'll give it to somebody who needs it a little more than I do. And last but least, that's right. There's only 3 here. The worst thing we can say about one of these movies is receipt. As in, I sure hope you kept the receipt. Because this movie is going right back to the customer service desk at the Target in the bad part of town. Because that's where they bought it. Are you guys ready to rate this movie?
Yep.
Let's do it.
I'll go first.
Please.
This movie is a re-gift. It was not for me.
Yeah.
But I think maybe, just maybe, somebody out there, ooh, this would fit just right.
Yeah. For me, it's going to be a receipt. And here's the thing. I don't want to fall into regifting everything because it is clear to me this is for somebody because it has shown up on a list of the top 1% of most viewed of this trash. Okay.
Sure.
So it is a receipt because there has to be as eye-opening at the end for us to say this actually might be semi-impressive that they pulled this off in this amount of time. My friends, there has to be something better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna return it and hopefully no one else.
But you don't think there's going to be something worse?
I don't know. It's a win-win.
Oh, okay.
It's a win-win. But right now, it's a receipt.
Okay.
And it could be that our brilliant podcast has decided to do Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and then immediately go to a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
That I've
we did
said,
do that.
what happened?
Yeah, we did do that.
But it's a receipt.
It's going to be a receipt from me as well.
Okay.
Like Carter, there is no question in my mind that somebody could enjoy this. But I think if you introduced me to that person, I would say, hey, I see you eating that McDonald's hamburger. Let me just throw that away for you. Let me get you something that's actually good that'll still make you feel the way this burger feels.
I hear that.
Right.
If you want a little bit of Santa-themed, family-themed Christmas magic, there's a million of those that aren't this.
But here's what I will say. And this has nothing to do with my rating necessarily, except as bad as this movie was, and truly I mean that, I ate up every second of this movie in a fully ironic way.
Yeah.
Like I was fully engaged, dying laughing at completely inappropriate times. Like I give the experience of watching this movie rejoice. Like it was so much fun to watch how bad this was.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'm more excited to watch another Hallmark Christmas movie than I was to watch another Fast and Furious movie after we watched the first one.
It almost falls into the so bad it's good category.
It's very close to that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be so splendid.
I wonder if we'll see DJ again.
Oh, we definitely.
I know we will
definitely
next
will. They do that for sure.
Yeah, because next week we're going to be reviewing the World War II time traveling epic. What's
It's
it called?
called Journey Back to Christmas.
That's not a joke.
Which
It's a time travel World War II
a
movie.
World War II era nurse enters a magic barn and is transported. It's transported
So
to
they've used that twice.
present day, which is 2016. She's transported to present day, where she finds the importance of love in the holidays.
Because that didn't exist in World War II.
No way,
Man,
dude.
I can't wait.
Don't you know
I-
nobody celebrated Christmas in the 40s?
I can't wait.
I can't tell you how hard it's going to be to wait until the proper time to watch it. Like, I want to go home and watch this right now.
Yeah, me
Right,
too.
but you got to
But
have
I
it
know I'll have
fresh
to
on the
watch it
mind.
again.
Yeah.
We want to give a big group shout out to moms everywhere.
Yeah, I like that. Moms and aunts and grandmas.
Thank you for making Hallmark possible, thereby making this possible.
We do have a couple of iTunes shout outs that we want to give. These are iTunes users who have left reviews for our podcast.
Thanks for that.
Big thank you to Dilly Dog with lots of G's.
Lots of them.
The rock horns emoji followed by an exclamation point, which is the most 21st century name I can think of.
Yep.
Alk 2014 and Post-it Note. Thank each of the four of
thank
you.
you.
Thank you, guys.
I want to call you by your real human names, but I don't know those, so that's
if
what I'm
you-
going to call you.
If you'd reach out to us and let you know who you are individually,
Yeah, if you're one of those people and you submitted one of those new reviews, send us a screenshot to receive a special holiday greeting from the three of us.
For sure special. I mean, we're not
not
there's
blowing
no
smoke
fluff
here.
here. This is like a legitimate, tangible thing
Yeah, it's a real deal.
that I think you'll really enjoy, that I'm going to be glad to have my own copy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Big time.
and that goes for anybody who leaves a new review. If you write a new review and you screenshot it and you send it to us either to our Gmail or DM it to us on Instagram, we would be more than happy to include you on our holiday shopping list.
Mm-hmm.
If you're impressed by us saying things like Gmail, Instagram, Twitter, website, we have all these things.
We do.
Go check them out.
Yeah.
You should see stuff regularly from the Twitter account at 2 Chunks and from the 2 Chunks and a Hunk account on Instagram. I
Visit
kinda did some-
twochunksandahunk.com.
Yeah, go there. Doge is very, very good. As much of
wickedly
a
talented.
sound wizard. Wickedly talented.
I don't seem.
Adam is a sound wizard. Therefore, Doge is Eyes Wizard. He makes great graphics, guys.
He does.
I swizzard.
The Instagram follow, when I see that story kind of glow with the little ring around it at the
Ooh, I
top
press
of
that button.
You know
Ooh, I
that's the
press that
first
button.
button I'd be pressing it. Instagram knows that, so they put it first.
It's always first for me.
Always first. So definitely worth a follow.
Big time.
Check us out. It doesn't just all come from the podcast. So there's a lot of stuff.
In the same vein as ratings and reviews, the best thing that you could do to help us out is ratings and reviews. We need them.
Fair enough.
Oh, we're hungry for them. We need them because if we get enough,
I want to eat them up like Pac-Man.
nom, 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 nom. I want to eat them up like Frank Holiday eats those delicious cookies.
We need your reviews.
And if you can give us enough reviews in enough time, that's vague. We can be Rotten Tomatoes real-time reviewers.
We can put one up there. Look, Christmas Under Wraps doesn't have a critic review, my friends.
We could be the first.
We need it.
And listen.
And Rotten Tomatoes needs us.
If it's just the three of us, if we wanted, we could say it's a 100% certified fresh.
We can confirm beyond the shadow of reasonable doubt that other humans will end up watching this movie.
Candace Cameron Bure, if you're listening, please get all your friends and family to leave us ratings and reviews, and we'll make sure your movies are the highest reviewed movies on Rotten Tomatoes.
We'll make you
I want to
money.
be very clear to Rotten Tomatoes that we won't actually do that. And we'll be very ethical in our review.
Yeah, we'll definitely be
process and make sure
ethical
that
for
we're
sure.
honest. Was that fast enough? Did that sound like the end of a commercial for a pill that stops back pain but gives you diarrhea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you do sometimes, Grandpa. I've got a quick. I know it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
And this is a time for the good feels, right? like
Ooh,
it
I
starts to
feel
get a
'em.
little cold outside, and you're like,
Ooh,
oh,
it's a freezing 73
here come the
degrees.
holidays. Here come the smell of the Douglas fern,
Oh,
freshly
love those
cut in the
ferns.
house. Don't need a Douglas fir. I need a Douglas fern tree.
That's my favorite Christmas movie, probably Douglas Fern Gully.
Douglas fern.
Douglas Fern Gully.
You know what I thought of though when one of these little Spidey boys jumped out of that tree?
Still hate it.
You know, it was just big enough to go into a nostril, and then I thought, wait a second. You know, some nostrils that I think could use a spider.
Uh-oh.
The nostrils of a person who has not subscribed to this podcast.
Oh, gosh.
I'd love that, and I'd love for you to not know it. I'd love for you to be walking around right now and be like, "What's that tickle in the back of my throat?"
Oh, I hate what you're saying.
It's a spider
man.
that crawled up your nose from Douglas fern.
This is the last week you literally througtened to rip someone's throat out, and
Yeah,
this is still
Roadhouse
the
is
worst
that.
worse
one.
to you?
Yeah.
These are things I think
a
about.
live spider crawling in my sinuses.
I'd rip my own throat out.
Well, just subscribe and it'll disappear. I promise you
Guess
that.
so.
It's the magic of Christmas. That
guess
spider will
so.
be gone. Here's the deal: if you want to save your own sinuses, you should subscribe.
Spiders roasting in an open nostril.
gross.
Yuck. Hey, let's end this episode, yeah?
Tickling at your throat. That's all I got. Sorry.
Guys, I have an idea
Okay.
to end this episode,
Okay.
and I have thought about it for weeks and years.
Wow.
That's a long
Big
time.
jump.
Even before I saw this movie, so that's why I was like, "Wow, okay, God,
perfect.
I get it."
Yeah.
Frank Holiday.
Yep.
We don't really like that alias name.
We don't.
No, it's bad.
Either call yourself Chris something or Kringle or
Nick.
Nick. Come on now.
Even Nick Holiday would be better. Just
Yeah.
Frank.
Frank is the worst part.
Why
Frank Holiday. So
Hey, it's Franklin.
coming over holiday. Why don't we sound off today with our own alias names for Santa Claus?
Okay.
Oh, gross.
Okay.
We're going for worse than Frank Holiday? What is a worse Santa name than Frank Holiday?
I mean, I think it'd be fun to make it worse. Because that seems to be more of a challenge than making it
Okay.
better.
It's so hard.
I got mine.
Do you want to start us off?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for listening. And for 2 chunks and a hunk, I'm Hanukkah Hank.
For 2 chunks and a hunk, I'm Billy Navidad.
Billy Navidad! And for 2 chunks and a hunk, I'm TJ Maxx.
You should.
Merry Christmas, everyone. We can't wait to spend the holidays with you.
Like you do sometimes, Grandpa?